Hey guys, and welcome to another Sleepy Talk video. So first things first, no hat. And that's mainly for the fact that, mainly friends, like I don't think any of you guys that watch my videos have said anything, but mainly friends like, oh, you only wear the same hat. You don't have enough hats. I mean, I've got loads. I just, everybody has their favorite pair of jeans, their favorite pair of trainers. And to be fair, I mean, I've got the turquoise one, which is really good, and it goes well with a couple of my hoodies that I enjoy, like especially my favorite hoodie, which is the green one. That I'm just not wearing a hoodie today because that's another thing. But yeah, I mean, this one, like, I don't know, it's just simple. You've got the Superman there. Everything's just good about it. I just like it, alright? But this isn't a hat video. It's not a hat video. Okay, I've got my green tea. And I'm gonna crack on with this as best as I can. Okay. So let's get into it. That's good. Oh, passion fruit and mango green tea. Oh. So, this week was meant to be a podcast style. Well, it was meant to be a podcast. I'm not gonna fluff it up. Where PT was gonna be in and Mr. Stitch. So Mr. Stitch is pretty ill currently. He's pretty ill, and he did let me know ahead of time. So I hope you get better. I hope everybody who was looking forward to. Well, you didn't really know. Some of you guessed it, but you didn't know he was coming. But he was going to be talking about his own personal experiences with the spooky wookies, and sort of like, I don't know whether it would have been an inspiration for him, but I can only imagine it being an inspiration for him as to why he sort of went into the horror-esque style of filmmaking and why he's continuing to do that. I missed my hat, okay? Anyway, so, I thought that would be a really good episode, and obviously he's not here. PT's got some other things to do now that this sort of schedule is freed up. So it's just me, myself, and I. Which, sometimes it's quite nice to just sit down and have a chat. I don't think I've ever had a proper chat with you guys anyway. But, it's good, me to you, and I've not really left the house in a year due to lockdown and stuff, so I'm quite used to talking to myself. I need to get out. Anywho, so some good news that's happening. Not specifically for this channel. Obviously, some things will improve. I bought some new equipment for podcasting, and I've specified it to everybody being in the same room. Now, obviously, during the current climate and throughout this year, it's not been great to get people in the same room, but things are looking a bit more hopeful. And obviously, jabs are now. Vaccinations are being rolled out, and a lot of people are getting them now, even on the sort of lower tier side of things. I haven't got mine yet, but as soon as it's available, I'm going for it. I don't want this to be a political thing. I really don't care whether you guys think it's a good idea or a bad idea. It's personal choice, as much as I respect your personal choice, whether I agree or disagree. So as soon as that comes available to me, I'll be having it, and then obviously the booster one, and then hopefully these podcasts can become more of a regular thing than just once a week, and we'll be able to have cameras, we'll be able to have people all in one big room, which I think will just be fantastic. It'll just be amazing to do. I'm really excited for it. So I've bought that equipment. It's ready. I need to buy a table. I need to get a venue, or at least a room in somebody's house that I know. Maybe that guy's, maybe Scott's, who knows. There's plenty of places that we can do it. It's just finalizing certain details. That's an exciting thing. I am looking forward to it. I hope we don't go back into another lockdown and it spirals again, because I think I'm just going to go insane at this point. Second bit of news is, given that we're coming out of a lockdown now, the PTR stuff is going to continue. So if you don't know what that is, that's a group channel with me, Kyle, Carl, who you've seen on the podcast as well, and a few other guys. We do, well, how do you label it? We basically hurt each other quite a lot, hurt ourselves, spend a full day arguing while building sets, and then doing... All in all, we're just big kids who want to relive certain childhood things, visit certain things that we wanted to do as kids but we couldn't, but now we're adults, we can afford to do these things. Obviously PG friendly, nothing that's specific to an adult. And yeah, so we've got, in my opinion, because it was kind of like a snippet of my idea that's then been added to by somebody else's idea, and then someone else's ideas come in, and it's all combined into one, in my opinion, beautiful little masterpiece. We're recording this week, so as soon as we're allowed to be in groups of 6, you better know that we'll be doing it. So look forward to that, and link will be in the description. And here's just a quick snippet of what we've done so far. So what I'm going to be doing on this one, obviously we're like 6-7 minutes in. I'm going to be doing some more short scary stories. So obviously you've had nearly 10 minutes of me rambling on like a lunatic. So let's get into these stories. So this first one's by a very special person to the channel, somebody that I loved doing creepypastas on, or reading their creepypastas on years ago. It's by a user called Thousand Thorns. I featured them quite a lot on here, and the guy's a really great guy. Like, I've spoken to him outside of obviously stealing his work for my content, and he's such a chill guy, and he deserves a lot of credit. So if you do anything on this video, just go check out his Reddit. Link will be in the description. He's, like I say, he's just an insane guy, and you know, at some point, hopefully, he comes on the podcast and talks to us about him, because I'm so intrigued to know like where he gets his imagination from and his story writing abilities. Just I'll stop now. It's this green tea, it just sends me wappy. So this first one is called The Dark End of the Street. Whenever it rained, Ben could never see much through the rolling sheets of drops, but he wished he could. He knew that someone was down there. Every rainy evening, there was someone at the end of the street. With the chilly wind on his face and the rain stinging in his eyes, he leaned out as far as he could and squinted to see better. But whoever it was, they were always just out of view. Ben wasn't sure if he was afraid or not. He was certainly uneasy. But his discomfort with the entire situation grew when, on one of the dark, wet nights, it seemed whoever it was had come closer. Just a few steps. Ben had mentioned this to his mother. She loved her boy. He had a strong imagination and she blessed him for it. She always went with him to the room when he wanted to point out something he saw. She never saw anything, but she indulged him anyway, reassuring him that everything was fine. They would follow the same routine every night. He would kiss his mother goodnight after she assured him everything would be fine, and that would be the end of it. He would go back to trying to seeing the figure out of the pouring rain, unable to sleep. One awful evening, Ben was extremely unnerved to find that the person in the street was even closer. They now stood on the sidewalk on Ben's side of the road. He was deeply disturbed by this eerie behaviour. The rain was hammering down. It pummeled the roof above him relentlessly. A massive boom of thunder and a sharp flash of lightning jarred Ben's bones, and his heart stopped when the flash illuminated the figure on the sidewalk. They were suddenly much closer now. His blood froze when the lightning flashed again, and he saw the figure in the rain properly for a moment. Their head was tilted back at an angle toward him, and as Ben stared, he realized that he was looking at the face of his own mother, and it was staring back at him through the rain and the dark, her mouth open in a silent scream. Ben was shaken to his core and leapt into his bed in fright. His heart was pounding, his eyes were wide, struggling to comprehend what he had just seen. After some time he pulled away his covers and had a little more courage. He had to go see if his mum was okay. He got out of bed and found her. He found her standing in his doorway, her eyes as wide as his own, her face still frozen in a silent scream as she reached out for him. This time, he thought, he actually heard a scream, but he would never find out if it was his mother's or his own. Ooh, shivers! Shivers every time. This guy, every time he writes something, it doesn't matter what the subject is, it always has like a weird and wonderful twist at the end, and it always gets me. Like every time, I'm expecting it, yet I didn't expect it. Damn! As it goes, like, this is an easy, biased 5 out of 5, but an unbiased 4.5 out of 5 from me. Like, just that little 0.5, I don't know where. He might have missed a comma somewhere, but for me it's a 5, but, being fair, I'll give it a 4.5, because obviously I am invested in his stuff. Oh, this green tea's so good! Oh. I need to get another one. So, that was Dark End of the Street by Reddit user Thousand Thorns, link in the description. This one is by Reddit user __ yet another stranger, and it's called Under. Have you ever felt in the middle of doing something that you were in the wrong place? That somehow you'd ended up in another person's home or on the wrong street, even though you knew you were in the right place a second ago? The moment always passes, but just for an instant, you were in the Under. It's a place just like the first. All the houses are the same, the forests are a little denser, but we don't have enough time to get into that. The only major difference is that this isn't a place for humans. Except for me. And if your luck isn't very good, you too. You might find yourself being pulled into the Under more often as time passes. The more it happens, the longer you stay there. Then one day you'll find that you can't go back to the first. When that happens, quickly find a place with multiple exits. Make sure it's well lit and not too spacious. When they come to you, leave the room quickly and make your way to the inn. You'll know which one I'm talking about because all roads in the Under lead to the same place. Don't come through the front door. There's a broken window that's a safe entry point as long as you don't cut yourself on the glass. Of course, we don't know whether the things even have their senses of smell anymore, but it's worth a shot. That's how I escaped. As soon as you're inside the inn, you're safe. Not always, obviously. Not when you get hungry, but you're safe, and you're not alone anymore. I'll be waiting in the first room on the left. I have so much more to tell you about the Under. I'll teach you how to avoid the things when we search for food, and how to use the device that brought both of us down here. It's going to be so fun having someone around after all these years. So, it's weird. So, it's not 100% scary or creepy to me, but it does make you think. So, I don't know, for drivers out there, when you're just commuting to work, you're just on your way, plodding along in your car, and then all of a sudden, like 10 minutes has passed. You've passed like multiple roundabouts or gone past multiple exits. And you can't even remember going past them. I kind of refer to it as ghost mode, where literally you are doing what you do every single day. So your brain isn't concentrating as much as it should be at these things because it's seen it all before. There's not really that much information to take in. You're driving, there's a roundabout. You're doing the same thing over and over and over again in your daily life. And it's only when something really changes that you kind of snap back into reality. It's not that you're asleep at the wheel or anything. It's not that you're driving dangerously. It's not that you're speeding. Like, I imagine, like, because when I've come out of it, come back to reality, I know that I'm doing the speed limit. I know that I'm safely in my lane. I know that I've obviously not crashed on the roundabout because it's a roundabout. I know how to go past roundabouts. For you Americans out there, it's just a little circle in between roads so you can go off at different junctions. Rather than having traffic lights for different exits, it's just one that you go around and then you pick your exit off. I think the US has like 1 or 2 roundabouts in existence, so just give it a quick Google. You know, you'll get there. They are complex, but they're very simple after you've used them like 3 or 4 times. I'm not going to go into lanes because people that drive around me seem to not understand what lane to be in, so we'll just not go there. But yeah, it's very it's a very weird feeling. It's a kind of a scary feeling as well when you sort of pulled back out of this ghost mode and you realize, like, I don't remember going past this roundabout. I don't remember going past this junction. I don't remember going past this. I don't remember going past that. And it's just because you've done it so many times before. And usually it's at the same time every single day, so you see the same certain cars. I know that when I was driving to Worksop, which is near me when I used to work there, that'd be like a 50-minute journey. And there was a Scirocco Mark II that used to... Mark 1 or Mark 2? It was a couple of years ago now. It was a classic Scirocco, one of the old VWs. And that used to pass me at pretty much the same point going to and from work every single day. And it was just weird, because I'd notice it. I would notice it every time, but this is the thing that I'm getting to. So you kind of... If you see the same things constantly every single day, you'll not notice them as much. And if you do the same motions every single day, you'll not notice them as much. And this is kind of the point that I was trying to make on our Ghost episode all those months ago, that we probably need to revisit now, is that when people do the same things every single day, they're exerting their energy, you know, they're doing the same things. And this might be what people see as ghosts, is just energy doing the same thing on repeat until it disperses into different things, you know. And I think that's something that everybody does, really. You do the same things every single day. Obviously not in lockdown and things like that. Life has changed. I imagine my ghost will be stuck in a basement. Sad times, because I'm stuck in a basement all the time. Anyway, I'll give that one a... I was going to give it a 3, but given that it's made me think and gone a tangent about things, I'm going to give it a 4. I think it's a good one by Yet Another Stranger. It's made me think. It wasn't creepy, it wasn't scary, but it did have creepy undertones and made me think a lot about my own life and how that's happened, so that makes it a little bit scarier as well. Okay, so our final story. I'm going to scrap this one completely. I don't know how I'm going to edit this out, like, genuinely, but I was not impressed with that one at all. Like, it was so difficult to read. I'm not going to say which one it was, but there was a story in there that was... What can I say? Okay, so this will be the final one. I've not read it, but yeah, I genuinely was not impressed with 2 paragraphs of a story that just... I'm not going to name any names, I'm not going to say which one it was, but genuinely, I've never done one of these and decided not to use one of the stories. And that was in the hot recommended. I'm not going to slate it. Obviously, some people liked it, but it genuinely wasn't that good at all. 2 paragraphs, and I'm just going to enjoy this story. Okay, I'm going to enjoy this story. This one's by Pickle Jar Potatoes, and it's called "I Wish My Parachute Failed." which is always a fun title to have. When my parachute released during my freefall, I was relieved. Looking back now, I wish I plummeted to my death instead. In order to help survivors, the government began to parachute themselves into safe zones. These safe zones were the only sanctuary against the infected. Call them whatever you liked. Infected, zombies, flesh enthusiasts. It didn't matter once they sunk their teeth into your neck. Since landing aircraft attracted too many of them, the government started parachuting survivors to safe zones. Survivors arrive safely, sometimes, but sometimes there's a high rate of success in the apocalypse. As an added bonus, less infected attacked the safe zones after the parachute program began, supposedly because of how quiet parachuting was. When it was my turn to jump, I strapped on a parachute, stepped out of the plane, and prayed I was one of the survivors that sometimes arrived safely. The air brushed across my face, painting it with fright. My speed increased and my heartbeat increased even faster. Howling in my ears, the wind drowned out my screams. When I saw the safe zone, I pulled on my main chute and it released. Sighing in relief, I gently glided towards salvation. But fate be damned. Suddenly, a burst of wind pushed me off course, way from the safe zone, and towards the surrounding forest. I tried steering back on track, but the air current took the wheel and I had a different destination in mind. I drifted towards the forest. My parachute then became entangled on the trees and left me suspended on the branches several meters off the ground. To an infected, I looked like a meat piñata. Soon, a horde of them came to the party, invited by the sound of me tumbling through the thicket. When I looked around, I saw dozens of other parachutes entangled on the tree branches, some of them with a body still attached. I then realised the real reason why the safe zone stopped getting attacked. It's been hours since I became entangled on these branches, and I'm starting to get hungry. However, the horde below appears even more ravenous. I wish my parachute failed. Clever. Clever, clever, clever. Clever again. That was smart. I thought, oh no, like he's gone off into the forest and he's got to try and make his way back. But no, this is the reason why the safe zones are safe. Is because the people that they parachute in get blown off course into the forest and they become a meat piñata for the zombies. Genius. Obviously, as long as you're not one of those that are getting stuck in trees, then I guess, yeah. It's great for everybody else that's in the safe zone though, so thank you for your service. Good luck. Thanks again. So, it's smart. I'm going to give this one a 4.25. So we got a 4, 4.25 and a 4.5. I would have given this a 4, but I think it is better than the 4 that we gave earlier. I don't rate it as highly as Thousand Thorns, the Dark End of the Street. So I'm going to have to put it at 4.2, 4.25. 4.25. So we've got a 4, we've got a 4.25 and a 4.5. Fantastic. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. It's been a bit of a ramble. I'm aware. I ramble all the time, so you get me once a week. I feel sorry for my partner, my daughter, my parents, pretty much anyone that knows me. Feel sorry for them. So thank you for stopping by. If you did enjoy yourself at any point during this, consider leaving a like. If you really enjoyed yourself, then hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon. That would like once a week at this point. It'll improve soon, I promise. Just a lot of things going on. So I'm me. Thanks for listening and take care.